Hi everyone, it's Emma, and today I'm going to be talking about something that I've been waiting a long time to talk about. It's All the Crooked Saints by Maggie Stiefvater. I read this arc last month. I loved it so much. I've mentioned it a couple times in my favorites video, and then I think it was my currently reading video, which I mentioned this beautiful book and what I was feeling about it. But I hadn't gotten the chance to film my review, so today I'm going to be doing my spoiler-free review for All the Crooked Saints by Maggie Stiefvater. It comes out October 10th, 2017. If you've been watching my channel for a little while now, you probably know that I love Maggie Stiefvater, so much. I love all of her books that I've read. I've literally never been disappointed reading one of her books, and this one was absolutely no exception. Every single time I go into a new one of her books, thinking that it can't get better, I always have low expectations, which is kind of weird considering she's one of my favorite authors. Not low expectations, medium expectations. So every single time, she surprises me and just blows me away with the way that she writes. Her characters are probably my favorite overall. I think amongst my favorite authors, Maggie Stiefvater's characters are consistently my favorite. And her writing style is so beautiful and lyrical, and her books just always have this feeling of magic that all of my favorite books have, whether it's poetry, manga, novels, whatever genre it is, all of my favorite books have that common thread, and it's just that feeling of magic that you get in your heart, and it is so good. I don't know if it's just that it's been a while since I read The Raven Cycle, or if this one actually is more lyrical. I thought that the writing style was really beautiful. I think I said this before when I talked about this book, but there were so many passages that I just had to pause and reread it 3 times before I could move on because it was just so lovely, so good. The basic plot of this one is it takes place in the 1960s in Colorado. It surrounds this family who all have the power to grant miracles. It is a very specific type of miracle, but I'm not going to explain it to you because it's not revealed right away exactly what the miracle is. So I think it's kind of a spoiler. It's not a plot point spoiler. I think it's better to go in not knowing as much because it is kind of mysterious. So everyone in this family has the power to grant miracles. So pilgrims, people, travel from all over the place to come there and get miracles granted on them. Basically, in recent years, it hasn't been going as well as it used to. The book kind of centers around the young cousins of this family, Beatrice, Daniel, and the last one whose name I'm forgetting. It started with a J. Those 3 cousins, the last one being Mystery J Boy. And amongst this family, there's always one person who is called the Saint. Daniel is the Saint. He's the one who grants miracles. They can all do it to some extent, but the Saint is the one who has the gift most strongly. The place that this story kind of starts is that this young man named Pete travels to where this family lives, but he's not there to get a miracle. The other thing about the plot that I really enjoyed is that the youngest of the cousins wants to be a radio DJ. The 3 cousins run a radio together, and they drive out into the desert to broadcast in the middle of the night every night. Whenever there's an element of music in a book, it just adds some groundedness and relatability to me because I love music. Like I said, the characters are the best. Beatrice is being added to the list of female main characters who are me, along with Inej and Blue Sergeant, the ones that I relate to the most. Beatrice is totally being added to that list. I think it's because Maggie Stiefvater and I are the same personality type. We're both INFJs, and we're also both Slytherins. So when she writes, it's like she looked into my soul and wrote things about me into things that her characters say. The family dynamics are complex and messy, but so poignant as per usual. I love how Maggie balances everything in her books. There's always an element of family, there's always an element of friendship, and then there's always the romance. And they're all kind of balanced equally. It's not like, oh, here's the romance, and then the parents are mentioned like once. That being said, I did really like the romance in this book. This is not a spoiler, me saying who the couple is, because she tells you, like, right in the first chapter, Beatrice and Pete are gonna fall in love, because Maggie likes to do things like that. One of the reasons I really liked this romance was because Pete, the, like, boy part of the couple, was so good. He was not the typical YA brooding bad boy that I've seen so many times and that I never like. Book boyfriends that a lot of people have, I just don't like them. Like, I don't like Jace Wayland, just not my fave. And Pete was so not that. He was the complete opposite. Like, he was the guy who would probably in a lot of YA books play the best friend. I liked that he was the romantic interest, not the best friend who gets friend-zoned. I wish that I could read you guys some quotes, but you'll just have to wait until it comes out and see for yourself the beautiful writing that is in this book. It just fueled my soul. You know, when you find things that are creative and so it makes you feel more creative? The writing in this book felt that way for me. There were so many of those moments where the writer communicates something that you've felt but don't quite know how to communicate. Maggie had so many of those moments in here for me. And like I said, I think it's because we're the same personality type in Hogwarts House and we're just similar types of people. I don't know if I can say I loved it more than the Raven Cycle, because the Raven Cycle is just always going to be a favorite, just like Harry Potter and Percy Jackson. But I've been thinking about this one more than the Raven Cycle. Newly. It was like over a year now that I read the Raven Cycle for the first time. I had not stopped thinking about it. And then I read this book and it was like, now I've been thinking about this one. It just captured my heart. I loved it. I'm totally making an aesthetics board for it on Pinterest, which is how you know that I loved a book. I hope that this video made you excited for the release of All the Crooked Saints. I really want to talk about it. It's one of those books that I really loved, so I just want everyone else to love it. But, you know, it's up to you if you read it or not. Do what you want. That's all for this book review. I hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy this video, please hit the subscribe button. I'm Miss Emma Reads a Lot on most of my social media. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time with a new video.